Pre-season's finally over. It must have been a challenge with the original season and called off the week before the first game.
Yeah, it was a tough one to deal with. So we felt we'd prepared really well, and we were looking forward to getting stuck into it. So it was very disappointing, and as tough as I found it, I'd say players have found it really tough as well. With going through, pre-season's never the most enjoyable occasion, but you do feel good after it, and you feel ready and prepared. So for players then to have to firstly go through a lockdown period and have to train in isolation, it can be very difficult, and then to motivate themselves to come back in and train again and do a second pre-season can be quite difficult. But I can't fault them. Their attitudes when they came in were brilliant, and they were really eager to get going, and everyone was in good condition, so it was really positive in the end.
We've seen a few departures in the off-season. Rihanna, Becky, McKenna, so some big shoes to fill there. Can you tell us a bit about the new arrivals that are Carrick Park this year?
Yeah, so everyone would have known that Ellen Malloy's been training with us for the last year or so. So when she came of age this year, she put pen to paper and was happy to come on board. We're also fortunate enough to bring in Avon Clancy, another good promising young midfielder, coming from Tipperary. So she would have got a number of appearances with Limerick last year, but she's come in and she's doing really well as well. We would have promoted then Kira Bates-Crosby and Breda Cushion from the 17s last year, and they've fitted in really well as well. So Sinead Taylor has signed with us this year, although she's away on service at the minute. We're looking forward to getting her back in with us. And a local girl, Trina Duggan, has come in. She's currently injured, but another good locally a good player. So we're always looking to strengthen the squad where we can. And obviously we've mentioned before, we're going for that little bit of a transition period where those players that would have been in the squad a couple of years ago and moving on. So it's important to bring in fresh faces where we can and stay as competitive as we can as well.
What are your overall thoughts on the competition this year? Obviously you have the kind of strong teams that kind of are very consistent, like Peamount and Shells. Galway were very good last year as well. Then you have the Bows, Athlone, Treaty United. It's quite open.
Yeah, I mean, if you look across the first three teams you mentioned there, Peas, Shells and Galway, there's a number of players with international caps, senior international caps, current international players, under 19 international players, and there's a really good representation across the three. And whilst we have a couple of underage players, we're not fortunate enough that we have that, but what we do have is a really cohesive group, a really tight, hard-working group, and I think the opposition is going to be very strong. It's going to be very competitive. Shells are maturing all the time. Their players are coming of age. Peamount again have strengthened this year by the players they've brought in, and you look across the team, there's senior international players in that squad now, but we fancy our chances on any day. I think we showed that in the cup final, when we're on our day and we can play the way we want to play. We're a very difficult team to beat, and we can score goals.
With the shortened season this year, it must be important to have a good start on Saturday, as there's kind of very little room for any slip up.
Yeah, no, this league doesn't forgive slip up, so it is important we get off to a good start. It's important that we build momentum early, and we put ourselves in a really good position going into a run of tough games with Galway, Peamount and Shelburne. So it's going to be difficult, but we fancy ourselves on the day, and we're well prepared, and we'll look to get off to a really positive start Saturday.
What kind of challenge are you expecting from Bows on Saturday?
I think they're going to be really energetic. I think they're going to be looking forward to getting to their first Women's National League game. I don't think they'll have anything to fear, no pressure, so they'll be able to go out and express themselves and play the way they want to play. I mean, nobody knows too much about them at the minute. I know their manager, I know they'll be well organised, and we'll approach them like we do every other team. We won't take anything for granted, and we'll look to implement our game first.
That's great, Tom. Thanks very much.
Anthony, thank you.